And here we go. Thank you so much for coming back to Sarita Talks. What an amazing group of individuals I've been able to recruit all over the United States. This man has, oh my gosh, we've been interacting for a while. I've been waiting for him to finally have an opportunity in his super busy schedule to fit little old me in here in Missouri.
Stop
Yes,
it.
yes, Terrell Tillman, lessons learned. Wow. Tell us some of the things that you've been doing recently, and then we can backtrack.
First of all, I want to say thank you, Creator, for allowing us to be here this morning,
Amen.
and
Amen.
thank you for allowing me to be on your platform.
Of
And
course.
you're doing some amazing work too. I'm
Thank
following you.
you. Thank
so,
you.
but for everybody that doesn't know me, my name is Terrell Tillman, and I'm from Los Angeles, California, by way of South Central. Now they call it South LA. But
Okay.
I'm from South Central Los Angeles, and I grew up in the times with the hardcore gangs and the crack law and all that stuff. And
Mhm.
I was also someone who was a part of the mass incarceration. So I went to jail at 18 in the feds, end up doing over 19 years on two different stints. So now I'm home,
Yeah.
almost going on 5 years. I have a reentry book that I've written. I have
Yes.
reentry curriculum. I have my own nonprofit, Lessons Learned, and I'm just out here trying to trying to actually share and continue to educate everybody in society about reentry and how we can work together to help the people coming home from prison have a better chance of succeeding, being and have a healthy reentry transition without going back to recidivize like myself. So I'm here to help other
Yeah.
people understand and navigate through this process without going through the hiccup of recidivating like I did.
There we go. There we go. Now, you've only been out 5 years. So let me just tell you, these are some of the things we do. We write books. We become better citizens than most people who haven't went through that journey. So I really feel like reentry should just be like, hey, let me treat you like the human being you need to be treated so
Yeah.
that way you can be successful. And those that are closest to the problem, we're the ones that can solve it. So writing a curriculum, because that book is thick. Tell us about the process.
Well, it was just like this before I went back to prison on my second bit because I did two bits. I did from 2000 from 91 to 2002. That was my first bit from 18 to 30, 29. And then I stayed out 10 years to the day, 10 years and 12 days to the day. I got out January 1st, 2002, and I went back 10 years later, January 12th, 2012. So
Wow.
in going back, the creator has a great sense of humor. I would say they say the devil moves in mysterious ways, but the creator created the devil, and
Absolutely.
he has a lot of humor going on with it. So that I just laugh about things because when I went back in, I was kicking myself in the butt, and I
Yeah.
was beating myself up like, "What the hell?
Right. Right.
I didn't did this. I got off paper, and I knew
Yeah.
what I was doing, but
Let me just interject real quick because they feel like people get back to prison and they're like, ah, yeah, this is where I want to be. Not
no,
at all. I had plenty of
not at
roommates that came
all.
back and they would hang their heads in shame. And I would
Yeah,
tell them, hey, just because I haven't had my chance yet, I'm not your judge. We only
yeah,
got one judge. Don't hold your head in shame. So it looks like you
yeah.
took that second time around and decided, absolutely not. I'm not doing this again.
Oh no, no, no. I mean, that was like the catapult for me to do something special and for me to
Yeah.
reconnect with the creator so that he could give me this book and a lot of more information and
Right.
allow me to have the federal system, those 8 years that I had got to actually be my training ground and to start
Absolutely.
actually implementing my curriculum. I did my Toastmasters International certification through there. So everything in Toastmasters I did was reentry.
Nice.
I did the RDAP, which is the residential drug abuse program inside the Fed. So all of my
Uh-huh.
workshops, all of my seminars, everything was surrounded around reentry. So
I
I
love
was
it. I love it.
inside pretty
Now,
much.
wait. We got to go back to Toastmasters. A lot of people don't know what Toastmasters is. It's where you get up and you learn how to really speak. You learn how to really hone your skills. So
Yeah.
now that we know what Toastmasters is, that's something. That's something right there. But it seems like this. You took that opportunity, and is your curriculum based out of the federal program?
No, my curriculum is based out of my travels and experiences through reentry from going out, coming back in, and the whole
Absolutely.
process and how you navigate through the whole process and
Yeah.
different pitfalls that you're going to come in contact with. And my book, like I said, I've coined it the Reentry Bible. This is the Reentry Bible, you guys. It's available on Amazon as well. But Formula for Success, Reentry 030, this is the Reentry Bible, but it's also for people who will never go to jail.
Yeah. Oh,
This is a
yeah.
guideline. This book is a guideline for people coming out because you're going
Hmm.
to learn something that's going to be very valuable for you while you're out here going through
Hmm.
your reentry transition, and for also those who will never go to jail, who are going to be around people who are coming home or service providers. So it's a wealth of
Yes, which is a
information. And
thing.
yes, and
Which
it's
is
a
a thing.
self-helping book. It's a self-help book, so anybody can read it. And I
Absolutely.
guarantee you, if you don't learn something, I'll give you money back,
Woo!
100%. That's how
Listen,
much. That's how secure I'm about my product.
I believe it. Now, I bet you on LinkedIn. So, Terrell Tillman, you're on LinkedIn. You got the book on Amazon. How else can we get the book? Or we
You
just
can
go
actually
straight through Amazon?
you can go through Amazon, but you could also go through me. You can
Hmm.
contact me on any one of my platforms,
Tell
LinkedIn.
us, tell us about all the platforms.
Okay, so I have multiple platforms. I have LinkedIn, which is under my name, Terrell E. Tillman. I have Facebook, which is Terrell Gino Tillman. And then I have TikTok, which is Formula for Success, which is FFS underscore reentry dash 030. And I also have Lessons Learned on Instagram as well, and Formula for Success, FFS underscore S on Instagram as well. So
Okay.
I'm able to catch, or you could actually just go on my website,
That's what we're
lessons
looking
learned,
for.
lessonslearned.com, and you
Lessons
can
with
go
a Z. Lessons with
lessons
a
with a
Z.
Z. Yeah, lessons
Yes.
with a Z.com. And you can go on there and you can order my book from there. And when you order your book from me, you can get it for half price, $50, and I'll give you an autograph. So, and I'll send it to
Nice.
you straight out. I'll send it to you. You'll get it a day or two or whatever, FedEx.
Well,
So,
this is a star. So what you need to do is make sure that you go on the website so you can go ahead and get that autograph. Come on
yeah,
now. This man's
yeah.
doing fabulous things. Now, Lessons Learned is a not-for-profit, correct?
Yes, I have a non-for-profit. Look, Lessons Learned is a nonprofit, and I also have Lessons Learned One, which is an LLC, and I also have Funnel for Success Reentry Dash OTO because it's about entrepreneurship. Some things that a
Yeah.
nonprofit can't do, and some things that LLC can't do. And then
Yeah.
when you operate in
An
the space,
LLC is a sole proprietor. That
yes,
just means that that is a for-profit business, correct?
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes,
Now,
yes. And the sole
and it's
proprietor means that
different.
I am the only person in. I'm the only member. I'm the sole member.
Yes. Now, I'm a
Yeah,
sole proprietor of Sarita Talks and licensed in the state of Missouri for keynote speaking.
yes,
So, when you have your side business or your primary business, and you are a small business owner, you need to make sure in this moment that you are getting the certifications, that you are doing
yes,
everything the right way. So
yes.
that's a key to entrepreneurship. But I really want to talk about this not for profit because you're doing some awesome things in South Central LA.
Yes, well, I'm trying to do it. I'm actually just like right now. I'm actually the reentry manager at LA CARTA, the Los Angeles Center for Drug and Alcohol Abuse. So
Nice.
I'm actually doing reducing recidivism groups at two of our facilities, and I'm also the court liaison, and I also do mentorship with all of the clients, and I do referral services to different for housing, jobs, and training, things of that nature. And I'm doing it inside a substance abuse treatment center. So I'm like the first person that's actually teaching a reentry curriculum inside of substance abuse centers and inpatient programs, helping those people to get themselves together. And like I tell people, reentry and recovery, a lot of the things are very similar. So when I
They
teach
are
it, being that I'm an anger management facilitator, I'm FEMA
nice.
certified, I'm public safety, I'm a mediator, I give them a plethora of information all wrapped in. So, and it's real time. It's real time,
Wrap,
real life. It's
yeah,
real
wraparound
time, real
services.
life, and it's pertinent information from a lived experience standpoint, not just what's in the
Absolutely.
book.
And a lot of people are like, oh, we can't, hold hands and all of this. If you get a one-stop shop and somebody is coming to, sometimes people get out and they feel like an alien. They
Yeah,
feel like, oh my gosh, I'm so out of touch. This is so overwhelming. So
yeah,
that's how vital it is to have a Terrell, to have someone who's going to mentor you, who's going to show you where you go to get the housing, show you where you go to get this, show you how to get on your feet. And at the same time, I love that you said mentoring.
yes,
mentoring, because that's I feel like when you mentor, you get it back as much as you give. Do you agree?
Self therapy, yes. Because when I
Yeah.
do all my groups, I tell people, look, this is therapy for me as well. I'm learning from you guys. I'm not the tell it all, know it all person. I'm just bringing my experiences and my resources to you guys. And if you're ready, utilize them. If you're not ready, don't go using my name. but you
Yeah, but
also,
listen, even if they're not ready, they're going to take a piece.
and
That's
you
how I like.
also, but you also have me at your disposal until you get yourself ready if you want to do that. Now that's
That's
my
right.
whole thing. I'm available to anybody globally. If you're willing to work on yourself, help me help
Yeah.
you. But if you think I'm gonna pull you, no, I will push you. I will
Hmm.
push, but I'm not gonna pull you because I can want it for you, but you got to want it for yourself. And that's the biggest
Absolutely.
thing with reentry. It's all about the mindset.
Wow. I love that you touched on that, because I feel like, and I've said it before, that a lot of people need to realize that when you come out of a facility, you are basically like someone who immigrated to wherever you're at. You have the clothes on your back. Okay. And people come to America, and it is a place of prosperity. Sometimes don't even speak the language, the primary language spoken
Yes,
here, and become very successful because their life depends on it. And I feel like if more people would embody that, and just like you said, you don't have to be just as impacted to
no,
realize that change can happen. You can, like that, decide, hey, I'm not going to live this life. I'm
yes,
going to work for this. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And I feel like a lot of times people, when we are just as impacted, we work harder because we have something to prove.
yes.
And
It's all part of the mindset.
that's right. So
The thing
break
about it
that
is
down a
not
little
proving
bit.
to somebody else, but proving to ourselves that we're
Yes.
worthy, and that
Yes.
we made a mistake and that I'm gonna do good on this mistake. This ain't just prison talk. This ain't just jail talk. Me saying, oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this while I'm in jail. No, I'm working on myself. I'm working to be better and actually exuberating and displaying also the character and the actions of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Of doing it. So just talking about it is one thing, but actually doing it and leading by example is another. And that's what I do.
Yeah, and I love it. I love it too, though, that you were tapped into a community that could possibly go to prison, because addiction is real.
Yeah.
Addiction is real, and it
Yeah.
all starts somewhere. I don't have any problem saying, hey, I was on every drug known to man, and I didn't really mess with heroin because I didn't want to die. However, it didn't stop me from, well, and this is back in 2008 before
Yeah.
fentanyl even came into the picture.
Yeah.
So, like I remember trying to go buy crack, and people were like, "Oh no, you're the police," and I'm like, "I will smoke it in front of you." That's how far down I had went. And they're like, "Oh man, you're too clean." I said, "Give me a couple days." You know what I'm saying? I'll
Yeah.
fall off. And
Or they want to say, well, come on, you ain't got to pay. Come on here. I can give you this for free.
yes,
You know what I'm
exactly,
saying?
exactly.
You don't
And,
do it.
and listen, I think back, I'm like, man, I was one proud crackhead. I
Yeah.
was, I was, I'd be going through it. I'd be crying like, I was too proud for drug addiction. And guess what? God lifted me out of that. And I
Yeah.
knew you were talking about that while you were in there, that was training camp. I felt like I was on a missionary trip. Because, like
Yeah.
I said, I was doing every drug known to man. But if somebody would have moved next door to my mama with a murder case and armed criminal action, they looked just like me, I would have been like, get her out of here.
Yeah.
Until it was me.
Yeah. The
Until it was
perspective
me.
changes. The perspective changes. Because trust me, when I was in there this time, when I was in my Fed bit, I was in a lot of camps and low levels, and a lot of doctors, a lot of lawyers, a lot of white collar crime Europeans were coming in there, and
Yeah.
it would come. I would be in a cell to where it would be like the freeway when people first come into the dorm. They come into my cell, and so I would question. I would like, hey, how you doing? How much time you got? What you in there for? And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, you're a lawyer, you're a lawyer, you're a doctor. I'm like, what do you think about the system now? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? How do you feel? Because you went
Hmm.
to trial, you thought because you had a big shot lawyer and you was a lawyer and you was a doctor and you had this big shot lawyer that you was gonna pay your way out of the situation. Then you went
And
to
it's
trial and they bust you with your head. So now you're sitting in here with this 10, 11 years for this fraudulent case. Now you're
mhm.
talking about, oh, everybody in prison is not bad now because you see it. And you see the
Yes.
system is really not what you think it is until you
Not
get
at
involved in it.
all. But you know what? That brings me to something that we're really trying to work on here in Missouri. And I talked to a lot of people who are on the coast. There's some wonderful gentlemen, Eric Benson, Anthony Colon. They have success after lockdown. And I know you're in California, but what we're trying to do here is get some of these legislators who can pass laws to go to the prison and
Yes.
actually meet these people that you've been locking up. Because
Yeah.
until we have a face, and until we have a face, you're going to keep on locking people up and you're going to keep on throwing away the key. Would you agree?
Yes, most definitely. And this is the pendulum that has swung. And in California, being it's a very active state. We got
Mhm.
a lot of activists out here going up to Sacramento
Yes.
like every day. We're pushing on that, and we also have a more liberal justice system now to where they get it and they're
Yeah.
accepting intervention, they're accepting reentry, they're accepting public safety because they know people that were the actual troublemakers and problem causers, we're closer to the solutions. And we know
Yes.
we have the community, we have the relatability, we have the license to operate, and we can go back into the community to try to heal up some of the damage that we actually created and perpetuated all those years. Because I know I was one in the 80s.
Yes.
Oh, man, I was out there full-fledged game banging, selling drugs in LA, in different states, and all of that stuff. So I did my share of destroying the community. So now I'm going back. And it's so crazy because just recently, a friend of mine, he's in Des Moines, Iowa, where I caught my first case.
Hmm.
He called me, and it was just so happened to be my granddaughter's birthday. So he went and met my daughter, took my granddaughter a bike, and
Oh,
we're going to link up. He's going to link me up with this organization called Hip Hope in Des Moines, Iowa, and
okay.
I'm going to start going out there and facilitating and bring the public safety and the reentry information that I have to them. So when I go back to Des Moines, I'm going as the healer and someone who helped destroy the community. Now I'm going to help the community. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
a powerful thing, and it's very
Fulfilling?
fulfilling
Yeah.
because this is purpose. This is purpose. This is all God's creation. This is all God's mission. I'm just a vessel. I'm just a messenger. Just actually
Absolutely.
living out, being being obedient to the Creator's guidance. And not taking any credit for it. Just being the messenger. Just being a vessel and doing what I have to do. You know.
Absolutely. And I want to touch back on you were talking about how, Satan gets in there and has jokes and all that. I would tell people in prison, I was a soldier for Satan and I didn't even know it.
Like,
I
I
was
remember them every
the
day. I
Yes,
remember them
I was
every
the
day.
relapse queen. I would come into people's life and I would be like, "Hey, come on, that's fun." I had no idea what sobriety really was. I remember going to rehabs and all I would think is, "Oh, let's get some people, let's get some money together and then let's go out and use."
Yeah.
And I thought about it because I caught my keys at 28. How
Mhm.
many lives did I go in and destroy? Because those people were actually working on changing their lives, and all I wanted to do was party and have fun
Yeah.
until it wasn't fun anymore. So all this recruiting that I did to do the wrong thing now is my opportunity to get out here and recruit to do the right thing and be a soldier for Jesus. Because people don't know it sometimes, when we are so far down, there are forces against us that we are not even, a hip. And he was using you to go ahead and pump that mess out on the street, probably to me. And now he's using you in a sober living environment. So
Yeah.
everything is cyclical. So I just love it. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. So the not for profit, tell us about lessons learned, and you got to get the book. Show us the book one more time.
I'm gonna
Yes,
put
and get
this
it
up for you.
directly from him from the website. Get it from the website. Get it autographed. You know what I'm saying? Support somebody who's doing something great. Now tell us about lessons learned.
So lessons learned. Like I said, I have a nonprofit and also have an LLC. And within
Mhm.
either both structures, there's pretty much the the leadership aspect, the educational part. I do a lot of consulting. I
Nice.
do mediation. I do as far as teen pregnancy because I had my first child when I was 15 years old. So I was a teen parent, so I know how that feels.
I like that you're taking it from the men's perspective as well.
Yeah,
Nice.
I mean, because this is what it is, and you know, a lot of men don't share some of the things that they should share, so that the world can have a different perspective and perception
Amen.
of how we feel
Yeah.
as men coming out of prison as fathers. Because when it's looked at, oh, the women, they get the kids, and they, a lot of men, we go through a lot of changes in BS because of the fact that we're men, and the system and the court systems favor the mother, and by us going to
Mhm.
prison, it's a whole bunch of stuff we have to go through. But but we're dedicated uh, fathers as well, and want to look out for our seeds, and
Yeah.
it's just like, but far as a nonprofit, we do a plethora of things. I mean, training. We do training for staff. We do training for nonprofits. We do. I do entrepreneurship, so I help people do their LLCs and nonprofits. I do so much stuff. Like I said, I
Do
do
you have any speaking events coming
public
up? Do you have
safety. I do not have any speaking events arranged, but I do have some that's going to be here pretty soon. Um, Somebody from the city, they actually put me in the slots already. So he said, hey,
nice?
they volunteered me, like, hey, I got you doing this
Yes.
entry class. So, and that's the perk and the beauty of when people know what you do,
Hmm.
they implement you. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely. So
I got
that
a few
sounds like
people.
you're going to have to come back on so you can tell us when and where. And also, I mean, I'd love to have you come to Missouri. So what we need is some people to really
Look,
step up and
I'm
get to the
definitely,
capital and start saying, "Hey, hear our voices. We're
yes,
bringing in
however,
recruits."
however I can help. I'm here. I'm here
That's
because
right.
the thing about it, this is a national movement. This is a spiritual movement, really, and it's
Yeah,
national
that's
from
right.
our perspective. Because as Black people, 13% of the population, but 85% of the prison population, the numbers don't matter up.
They really
So
don't.
we have to show the disparity, and legislation and the politics actually have to have a soft spot because they already know the numbers. They
Yeah.
designed it. It's a well-oiled machine. It's working very
Hmm.
fine. But now it's like some of them are having heart.
Yeah.
Some of them are hitting home, and some of them are saying this is not right because I can't go to sleep after I done sentence this man to life prison for two cracks of two rocks.
Yeah.
So a lot of them are coming to their senses or awaken or whatever it is, and they're saying, no, this is not right.
And
This is not right.
I feel like a lot of that had to do with the opioid epidemic. Would you agree that when it was Becky the soccer
No,
mom?
it started with the Oxycontin. The opioids
Yes,
and the fentanyl just took it to the next level.
that's
Because
exactly right. And
when it was our communities and crack, oh, they crack here, they good, they okay. It's
mhm,
nothing. It wasn't a public service announcement. It wasn't a public crisis. It wasn't an emergency crisis or none of that because it wasn't touching the European population.
that's
It's
right.
only in Black and brown communities decimating our communities. But when we started taking that money and we didn't get cracked out and start being millionaires and moving into their gated communities and start having the luxury things and the property and all that. It was like, oh no, wait a minute, we got to change this law because it
Yeah,
didn't do what we thought it was going to do. It didn't destroy them. It may have tainted them a little bit, but look, these people is propelling. They moving where we are now. We got to get them out of
absolutely.
here. So we gonna change this law. And right behind the White House, we got Marion the barber, Marion Barry, the mayor of DC, smoking
Oh
crack.
yes,
Smoking
man.
crack behind the White House. So guess what? We finna
Yes,
pump this thing to 100 to 1. This is how we gonna get these Black people because they like this crack, and we gonna put this thing to 100 to 1. So when they get caught with one rock, 1 gram, that's gonna be 100 grams.
yeah,
And every time we get to so many grams, that's a mandatory minimum of 10 years. And that's what
yes,
started the crack law in 1987, 88 in the feds. And that's when the whole trajectory of our Black communities were decimated by taking the Black men out of all those communities and locking them up for 10, 20, 30 years, what we call the Buck Rogers date. Because in 1991, 88, and all that, people was getting sentenced to 2026 and 2030. And we couldn't see that. And we're like, you got a Buck Rogers date. But now we living
ooh,
in 2024.
yeah,
I didn't been back
that's
to
exactly
prison
right.
twice. You know what I'm saying? So, but these are the things that are really I'm always cognizant of, and I explain to people it's changing
Yeah,
because
and
society
finally,
because
and
it's affecting
finally,
the whole community.
And finally, they're realizing that you cannot warehouse people, and these could be productive citizens. And a lot of people who are conservative need to realize that when you let someone out, when you let a Sarita out, when you let a Terrell out, we are making power moves and we're building the economy. We
Yes.
all have the potential inside of us to do great things. And it's like when you lock somebody up and throw away the key. And a lot of people don't realize that there was a huge disparity between crack cocaine sentencing and powder cocaine sentencing.
Indeed.
And like you said, it disproportionately affected the Black community. And I really want to touch back and make it cyclical. When Becky, the soccer mom, started taking Vicodin, and then went up to oxys, and then went up to heroin, and now Jimmy and Joe don't have a mom because she's overdosed, then it became a big issue. So no matter who had to unfortunately fall and pass away through that, it has a face now. And I
Yes.
really feel like this too. A lot of times I'll say, don't judge another human being. Some people are still working on their testimony. And I feel
Yes.
like your book is a testimony. Would you
Yes.
agree? So
Yes.
tell us
Yes.
about the curriculum.
Well, and the curriculum was actually a spinoff of the book, because when I wrote the book, I was like, everybody's not going to read this book. So I said,
Mm-hmm.
well, let me write some curriculum, something that I could try to implement, well, not try, but implement into some classes and teach
Mm-hmm.
people these things and different components in my book. So it was a spinoff. So I wrote the curriculum, and I had my little nephew. He was from Washington. He was my guinea pig. I would come to him. I would answer all the questions first, and then I would ask him to make sure that I was on
Okay.
point. And he
Yeah.
was like, "You don't know nothing, Unc. You don't know nothing." But when he got out, now he knows. Right now, live testimony. Oh man, you was right on point. You knew. Woo,
Yeah.
woo, woo. I said, "Yeah, man. I just know a little something. I just know a little something."
Tell
But
us tell us a couple important things from the book right
okay,
now.
so I'm gonna say that one of the most important things about the book is that I wrote the book simplified. So if you can read Cat in the Hat and understand Cat in the Hat and comprehend that, you can read my book, because I didn't
Nice.
want my book to be something where you read, you got to go look up a word that you can't comprehend or you don't understand something. I wrote it plain and simple, but also I wrote it intelligent to where an academician or someone that a clinician or somebody that doesn't have any lived experience, they can relate as well. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
also, kind of bridge it up to some of their studies or whatever. And
Important.
I have like
Yes.
20 some I have 20 something components in it. And and it's just like housing, uh,
Yeah.
support system, confidence. The first chapter is actually confidence, because I tell people, I don't care what you got on the outside. If you're not confident that you can get out of prison and make it, you might as well stay where you at, or
Mm.
build that confidence up, because you got to
Right.
build the
Right.
confidence. Because whether you can read or write, or you got money, or you broke, or you got a support system, when you don't, I'm finna
Yeah.
get out here and make this. I'm finna get out here
Absolutely.
and I'm finna get out here and make. So you got to have that confidence, and
And
the
yeah,
confidence
believe in
you
yourself,
can learn.
because
Yes, you got to
you will
have that
hit so many stumbling
confidence.
blocks.
Yes, because you just made it through the iron's fire. You just made it through that. So be coming home is child's play, but you got to look at it in the aspect of, you're not getting out here running. You're getting
Yeah.
out here and you're being patient. You're analyzing, and I have a thing called the 3A system, where I assess, adjust, and address. So you can
Mm.
have plans in prison. You could have multiple plans, but when you hit the street, then that's when you put the AAA system in effect. Because now, over time, 2 months, you can assess where you at, make the
Yeah.
adjustments, and then start addressing the situation. And you can do this with any topic, whether it be a job, whether it be employment, whether it be a house, whether it be your short-term goals, whether it be a relationship. Well, a relationship would be something different, because that's somebody else attached to it. But you
True.
can also, anything that you need to accomplish individual, you can always put a timetable on it. And whether you finish it on time, before time, or after time, you can just gauge it, because time
Yeah.
management is the biggest thing and attribute of our lives once we come home. So
Mm-hmm.
we have to manage that time, and make the best out of our time and maximize it to the fullest, to where it's going to help us through a day-to-day basis, especially when we first get out, when we got to
Oh
get
yeah.
that social ID, birth certificate, or whatever in the resumes and situated. So those are the things that are very important. And the housing is the biggest. I would say housing, beyond your personal component of confidence,
Yeah.
Support system and housing is the biggest thing. And even if you don't have a support system, if you got a house, a roof over your head,
Mm-hmm.
halfway house, transitional house, or whatever, that's your foundation.
Yeah.
And from that foundation, you're going to go get your support system. You're going to find all the resources you can to help you build onto that foundation while you're there until you leave. But that roof over your head allows you to think clearly, know that
Mm-hmm.
your stuff is good. It might not be to the liking of the people that are there, but you got a
Right.
roof over your head. You're not homeless. You're not sleeping in the car. You're not thinking, where am I going to sleep? Where am I going to brush my teeth? Where am I going to have my stuff? Because when
Yeah.
you don't have roof over your head and you don't have housing, you're in a state of confusion because you don't know where you're going to lay your head, where you're going to wash your butt. How
Yeah.
can you be confident
How
to
can you
go to
get a
work?
job? If you,
Yes. So,
yeah, it's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Is I
yes,
have to, I have to
that
know.
right there, the
Yeah, I've got to
hierarchy
get that
needs, baby.
safety.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Safety, the safety, everything that comes with the roof over your head, it is conducive of healthy transition. When you don't have that roof over your head, your brain is scrambling, wondering where I'm gonna sleep. I gotta get housing. I gotta get housing. And the coolest part about it, they know this.
Yeah, that's true.
And
That's true.
that's why when they throw you these halfway houses or these transitional homes, some people say, oh, I don't want to go here, I don't want to go there. I think if you've been in jail 10, 20 years, you should go there
Yeah,
because you
and
can
don't have an
test the
attitude.
water. You can
Don't
test
don't
the
have an
water.
attitude. You can, yeah, you can self-sabotage yourself if you've
Because
already
you
seen
said it
yourself.
best. You said it best earlier. And I tell people I'm an alien all the time. But when you go to jail and you
Yeah,
come home and get dropped from doing 10, 20 years back into society, it's like you're being dropped in a time capsule. I don't care if you
I
had a
know.
phone in there. I don't
Yeah,
care if you felt like you was up on something. You was not living in society and you
no.
wasn't feeling what was going on. It's a whole different ball game when you're in prison on the phone doing all of this and you got the stuff
Hmm.
you think you slick as opposed to being on the street doing reentry. And I also
Absolutely.
explain that to my brothers and sisters. It's school. Get your education. Do everything you got to do. But don't come home thinking because you got an education or a master's degree that is reentry. That is you changing yourself and educating yourself. Now, reentry is getting home and actually doing the reentry transition process, going through it. And once
You
you have
said
the
it.
education and then the mindset, no,
Then you
not
got
to
it.
go left, but to stay going right and to continue to educate myself and learn what I need
Mm,
to so I can navigate through this system and be healthy. That's what
that's
you got to
right.
do, you know?
Yes,
So I tell people all the time, I love your education. Keep on educating. That's why I am, because it's self-education. But you got to do the process. You can't say you're a reentry expert until you actually done the reentry process.
absolutely. Absolutely. And it's all about being successful and having a
Yes,
plan. And I just
yes.
want to thank you so much for coming on and telling us that, hey, you don't have to have entered or left a facility to keep on
No,
learning, to keep
yeah,
on bettering yourself, to keep on, you know what I'm saying? Put that out in the atmosphere and do his work. Do his
yes,
work. All right,
yes.
tell us how to get a hold of you. And we're going to go ahead and shut down for today. But Terrell, you're coming back. How
Yeah, I'm
about
gonna
that?
come back. This is gonna be the
Yes,
first
you're coming
one.
back. So how do
The
we reach
first
you? How do we get the
one.
book?
Okay, so you can reach me. You can call me direct if you like. My number is 213-866-8156, or you can hit me on my Facebook. I mean, on my Instagram. My Instagram is ffs underscore reentry 030, or you can
And
hit me on Facebook, Terrell G. Tillman.
yeah, and we
So
got to
any
go on
one of
that
my
website.
platforms, you can hit me. You can catch me on LinkedIn. Any one of these things you can catch me on
Yes,
and you can hit me up and I could definitely get you a book, autograph book copy, and it's all good. But I'm definitely gonna come out there and help Miss Sarita Townsend, the keynote speaker, help me come to Missouri and put some things
absolutely.
down up in there. We're gonna collaborate out there. And I appreciate you so
Absolutely.
much. You continue to doing that great work you're doing, educating the people, letting people know and hear from the inside of different
That's
people, different
right.
perspectives, because that's what we have to do. It's just not a black or white thing, not a brown thing. It's a human thing. We're
Mm.
all humans. We're all holistic. And once you have that humanity and that humility in your life, all that other stuff goes out the window.
Strength and a multitude of advisors. Thanks for coming on. I so appreciate you. Get the book. Get it on.